I do here, and she was adamant that I tell you all about her. So I think that really shows how helpful it is to some of my students, and how much those relationships can be built. And I think it's really important to have that. And I hope that you all do as well. If you have any students that you think would benefit from that kind of help, let me know. I'm also here before and after school to support any student. So like if there are any, like especially like I know physics is not necessarily somewhere that gets a lot of help. Please feel free to send them back.
Thank you. So again, Michaela's done a lot, as you saw, especially on those intervention time minutes. I mean, obviously some students are interacting more and things like that, but I think we've really developed a good process to see some great growth during the rest of this winter and then over the spring. One thing that we really want to encourage you to do is keep sending the students down. If a student is asking from her list to see her for to do some work, or depending on your arrangement, maybe doing a test or things like that, feel free to send those students down. I know some of the students, and Michaela knows too, some of those students may be more or less reliable in terms of how quickly they get there, or how much time they spend there. If you have any questions or concerns about that ever, let Michaela know. She's been doing a great job of shooing kids away if they're not being productive, or letting kids know that now is not the right time, or you need to make an appointment if it's going to be a test, or things like that. So she's doing a really good job of trying to partner with you all to keep those students accountable when they're coming and going. So thank you.
All right, so Michaela mentioned, having caring adults and working with these students and how important that is for students. I think that's a nice transition into what we're going to talk about next. If you remember, about 4 years ago, we partnered with an organization called Equal Opportunity Schools, EOS for short. And one of our goals in partnering with them is, they had noticed not only here in Minnesota, but throughout the country that we've had certain groups of students, as we call our underrepresented students, who, for whatever reason, a variety of reasons, weren't accessing college level type courses. Primarily for EOS, it's AP or IB. For us, we take maybe a broader perspective when we also look at our college in the schools and any concurrent enrollment we have with any other partnerships with colleges and universities. So we're trying to figure out why underrepresented students have been taking college level courses. And like I said, there's usually a variety of reasons. For a lot of them, though, it's just because they haven't had a caring or trusted adult really kind of say, you have the skill set, you have the grit, you have the determination to really succeed and achieve in these college level courses. So that was kind of the emphasis behind partnering with EOS, is really reaching out to those students and saying, you can do this. We have faith in you to be successful in taking these college level courses. So I think it's important for you to get a sense of kind of where we started about 4 years ago to kind of where we are at now, and see the growth that we've made, not only at this campus, but at the North Campus as well, too, because it is a partnership between the two campuses, because we want to reach our students a little bit earlier if we can, to kind of hook them into and they see that success, and so maybe as a 9th or 10th grader, they continue on and take maybe not just one college level course, but maybe 2 or 3. And you're gonna hear about some success stories here later on from a few of our students as well, too. So Brian is here, and he's going to kind of share out a little bit about some of the data as far as where we started and kind of where we are now, and where we kind of want to continue to be as we continue to build upon this process. Brian?
Thank you, Don. Hello. I just wanted to share out sort of an update, a little bit of longitudinal over time, how the supports, the identification and supports of students for college level courses has changed. A snapshot of last year, how did kids do? So how are kids doing as far as grades go? How are kids doing as far as earning college credit? And then sort of where we are right now. What are our successes and gaps in getting underrepresented kids the experience of a college level course? So as you probably know, but aren't used to seeing it all at once, if you were to look at our course catalog, we offer 51 college level courses that can result in college credit, right? And that's taken a test, an AP test, earning a grade in a CIS course, a grade and a test in Project Lead the Way, or one of our concurrent enrollment classes. All right, so that's really grown. That's really grown over the past few years, and I think that's one of the reasons, that breadth of accessible courses, one of the reasons that we have success. If you want to, so this is a very exciting looking graph. The beginning is super exciting. But
Jazz it up.
in 2016, when we started identifying kids, being very purposeful in how we identified kids, and sort of recruited and supported them through courses, our increase in participation and our goal, our 2016 goal was a little over 50% of kids. And since then, it has popped up and it's been in the low 60% range of our 11th and 12th graders taking these college level courses. All right, so the percentage of our 11th and 12th graders has increased, and the number of kids that we need to reach participation equity has decreased. I'm actually going to skip forward a slide, backwards a slide, because now in real time I see that I maybe should have done them differently to explain this better. Right now, this is what we call our participation gap chart. And you've seen these before. These are, our goal is this 61% of kids in each of these groups participating in a college level course. All right. Right now, I'm going to say our traditionally highest participating group, white kids from medium to high income families, are participating right now at 61.3%. All right. We have two other groups, Black or African American students and students two or more races, both from medium or high income families, that are also participating at that level. So that is a closed participation gap, a closed equity gap for participation in these classes. There's a total of 38 kids needed to be at that full equity, to be at 61.3% across the board. And they're distributed, as you can see here. 20 of those 38 would have to be in the white students from a low-income family. One of the 38 would have to be an Asian student from a medium to high-income family. So I'm going to go back a slide now. So this is our current 2018-19, 641 11th and 12th graders participating in college-level courses. And so thinking back to 2016, in 2016, we had 507 kids participating. And so that was 51% of our kids. We had a low bar, lower, I should say, 51 is 52% is still pretty good. We had a lower bar, and yet we still needed 65 kids in those underrepresented categories to reach equity. We've raised that bar. That bar is in the low 60s for the past 3 years. And the number of kids that we need to reach participation equity has steadily decreased over the past 3 years. So again, it's that progression towards a representative proportion of kids from these underrepresented groups in our college level course classes, reaching that full equitable participation across all groups, moving in that direction. And that's very, I think, very impressive. And it's and so how are these kids doing, right? If we look at those same sort of group of kids in the same way and look at sort of key metrics of success, right? One of the big things, I mean, yes, we want everybody to come out of one of these courses with some type of college credit. But the biggie is actually being in that class, seeing yourself as a college student in high school increases the probability of you going on to college and being successful. And so you want to think about, yes, we want them to be there, and yes, we want them to have a certain level of success, both to show that they're learning and as a form of positive feedback to them to say, hey, I can do this. So just talking about, if a student earns a C- or higher. So right now, all students in 11th or 12th grade, I said right now, last year, 2018, all students in college level courses, 11th and 12th grade, about 90% of them were a C- and higher. And we do have some gaps, some groups that are below 90%, but I look at this and I think there are gaps, but they're not insurmountable gaps, right? And the same is true if you look at kids that earned a 3 or higher on AP courses last year. All right, 78% of South students who took an AP test, not who just took an AP class, but actually took the class and took the test. 78% of them scored a 3 or higher. If we look again, there's a bit more of a spread in differences between the groups, but still, it's a attainable goal. It's not it's not such a huge spread that it doesn't feel like, we are supporting and we are seeing, helping our kids build success and seeing themselves as college level learners. That's all I have. Questions about some of, I've done almost this exact same presentation before the past few years, so you have a history in your mind of sort of how this works. Any specific questions or performance questions?
Are we doing this 9-12 as well?
We are looking at the data 9-12. So North is looking at similar data, but I have some 9th and 10th grade data. We don't have as intensive of identification supports. Well, for one thing, your 9th graders we're not surveying 8th graders, right? We do the survey with 9th and up. And we don't offer the wide array of courses at North Campus. And that's something that we're working on. So for instance, the AP psychology course, there are the Project Lead the Way courses. It's not just, I think back 5-10 years, and maybe there were 1 or 2 AP courses at North Campus, maybe 3. Those opportunities have increased. But the big focus of EOS is 11th and 12th graders. And actually the big focus of EOS is just AP. And we take the identification support that they provide, and we look at it more broadly, a broader college experience than just AP.
I think another point to that is even though we might not have the opportunities, let's say in 9th and 10th grade, what we do is we have conversations with those 9th and 10th graders who maybe have never taken a enriched course, an honors course, and maybe for the first time, that's where they start with their foundation. And then from there, they have success, they feel good about what they've done, and then the next step for them might be like in 10th grade taking a AP course, or then in 11th grade taking another AP or CIS course. So although we might not have the opportunities for them at the lower level in high school, we still look at it as like what could be a step for them. And for some of them, it's taking that first honors course for the very first time, because we know through the criteria that we go through, they have what it takes to be successful in those courses.
Yes, sir.
But I might have missed it. Regardless of race, ethnicity, anything like that, what's the number of kids that we have taking, like percentage-wise, that take those classes?
That would be
Was it 61? Okay.
well,
Did I miss it?
so our goal is 61.
I just overall percentage.
Overall, it's going to be
641 kids. Okay, I just missed
600,
that number.
so it's going to
Okay.
be a smidge lower than 61.
Okay,
We're 38 kids short
sorry.
of 61%. And if I wasn't standing up,
I just
would have
missed
my
I just missed
calculator
that
right
number
here.
in there, and I wanted to be able to relay that to my students as we have those conversations.
I think you're safe saying 60%,
Okay.
59, right? You could add the 38.
Okay. Overall.
Other questions? All right. And
So-
I'm tossing, we're stereo casting with North Campus at this point.
So I think it's important, you should feel good about and pat yourself on the back of the work you've done so far. I mean, that's a huge growth in the last 3 or 4 years. At the same time, those students are successful in those courses as well. So, it's great work on your part. And we all know our work is never done. And as Brian showed with the data, that we still have some gaps that we have to close. But I think the important piece that we always have to go back to is you see a lot of numbers up there. And sometimes I think we lose sight of the faces that go along with those numbers. So So I think we're very fortunate to have two of our senior students here. They're going to kind of share out some of the success they've had. And we, through all the criteria we go through in the POS, they fit that process. And when you talk to teachers, or when you talk to students as teachers, and you've done this in the past, when you have those conversations, especially when we get around registration time as far as courses they want to take, for a lot of them, there's this sense of uncertainty. They don't know exactly, should I take this college level course? I don't care if it's an AP course, CIS, or whatever. They're looking for you as their trusted adult or caring adult to have those meaningful conversations. So that's a very, very important piece in my mind as far as we go through this process. Is there's a lot of uncertainty on their part. You're going to find that out when they first started this. They weren't quite sure if they had the skill set to be successful in these courses, and we found out that they do. So we want to continue to build upon the work we've done to make this even a better experience for all of our students here in the future. So I'm going to take this time to have Moody and Darren come up. Maybe just take a minute to introduce yourselves. Moody, why don't you start?
Hey guys, my real name's Muhammad Ayash, and I'm a senior, but you guys can call me Moody.
My name is Darren Lemieux.
So why don't you tell everybody maybe some of the college level courses you have taken or you're currently taking now?
First, I'd like to start out with the person that encouraged me to take college level courses was Miss Sarah Brummer. Works over at North Campus. She emailed me telling me that I have to take more risk. I'm too comfortable with what I'm doing, and I just didn't feel like I had the right skills and to do all these courses. So she told me to just sign up for at least one. So I did. I signed up for 3. And the 3 I have is CIS Gov, AP Macro, and AP Stats.
And for those of you who don't know, Sarah Brummer is a science teacher at North Campus. She's also the Avid Building Coordinator as well at North Campus. Darren, maybe you can share with us the courses you have taken that are college level courses you're currently taking.
Right now I'm taking CIS Spanish, CIS Algebra, and AP Studio Art.
So Moody, you mentioned that trusted adult who kind of pushed you a little bit. Darren, do you want to share with us who your trusted adult or adults were that kind of maybe pushed you in that direction?
Well, first I wasn't sure if I should take college courses because I was scared of it, and so some teachers that motivated me to join those courses for Mr. Anderson and Gritzy, because I was taking regular studio art and he told me I should take AP Studio instead, and yeah, I took him.
Okay, sorry to interrupt you. So could you when you have the trusted adults that you mentioned kind of push you, how did that make you feel? I mean, because before you both kind of mentioned you weren't pushing yourself, you weren't quite sure if you could really do this.
I was just like, why do you care so much? What I do? And I just thought of it as if someone really cares this much about what I do and if I'm comfortable on what I'm doing and someone's telling me that I could take another step to be more successful, maybe learn something I didn't know was out there.
Okay. What do you consider maybe some of the most challenging parts of taking college level courses? Because I know for some students that would be a big leap.
I believe there's some materials that you need to know before taking higher level courses. Because when you go into a course and look at it, it's like I've never learned this stuff. And the tough part is just catching up on that, understanding what's going on in the class. Is that good?
Darren, anything to add to that?
I was hard about it.
Yeah. What are some of the challenges when you started taking these college level courses that you experienced?
well, obviously more advanced and like go a little bit faster. Like I don't know, feels harder than they usually. I don't know.
So let me kind of follow up, as you've taken these, you know, obviously, you've taken some of the teachers that are here and some maybe at North Campus as well too. What have teachers done that have made it easier or for you to be successful in these courses? Like, what part of what their instruction that makes it easier for you to grasp or understand the material? Like, are you a more hands-on type learner, or do you learn
Oh,
better
yeah.
when you're with groups? Does that help you?
When I am new to a lesson, I like being brought out problems like homework, pretty much homework. And I seem to be a hands-on learner. Like, I like to do activities that make me run, like make my brain run, make sure I'm thinking about what I'm doing.
I think I learn better like working like with groups and like activities like that, and like yeah, with my hands too.
Like study groups, like collaborative groups.
Yes. So, anything else you want to maybe add and let the staff know that you haven't talked about? Before we kind of wrap up with Moody and Darren, is there any questions from the staff for you to look at? It can be quite intimidating to be in front of 65 teachers. So maybe before we end, question, Amy.
At this point, are you glad that you took the risk?
Anything else?
Maybe before we wrap up, maybe kind of share out maybe what your future plans are.
Probably try to figure out what I'm passionate about. I'm not sure what I want to major in, but probably criminology or psychology.
I don't really I don't really know where I wanna go for college, but I'm planning on going to college and have some options, but I'm not really sure like what to go after.
Would you say prior to you taking your first college level courses that college or post-secondary, whatever that might look like for you, was in your mind prior to taking one? Do you even think about that?
Well, sophomore year, I did not care about school, and that's when Miss Brummer finally like came out to me. I was like, oh crap, maybe I want to go to college actually. So yeah.
Do you feel the college level courses you have taken have helped prepare you for what you think your college is going to be?
I take I used to take like notes, but they seemed so bland and like uneducated. But now I actually could just keep going, and I don't mind taking notes now.
Gary, anything to add? Thank you both. We appreciate it.
Thank you.